36 holes. It was like wild swings and
Yeah.
the lead. What was it like playing with those two guys? So,
Yeah, I tried not to think about like the lead too much as just doing my thing in my game, and so I think it made it a little easier when I made the double bogey. Like I was still up one, but I could also just say like, okay, I'm one under, like let's try to get to two, then let's try to get to three, then let's try to get to four, whatever. So I think that helped me a little bit. It was just kind of playing my game and not getting caught up with like match play and whatnot, because also like someone from behind could have easily been coming. So I was just really trying to shoot the lowest score I could.
Between the three of you guys, you were in some spots on this course that I don't know if even Pete Dye had that in mind.
Yeah.
You on the par five, were those lies tough in the bunker, and then the second shot?
Yeah, the bunker was just like really sandy, so I slipped. I almost like fell on my face, honestly, and like practically missed the ball, and it barely got out of the bunker. And then the hardest thing was that there was a hill, and it was only like 6 feet in front of me, but I like couldn't see anything, so I couldn't even line up with like a tree so I was trying to line up with a piece of grass, and I hit it like barely right at a piece of grass, and next thing you know, I'm like 45, 50 yards right of the fairway. So that was what I was so upset with myself about, was that I didn't do a better job of like getting a line there, because I definitely didn't. My game plan was just to hit something around the green, give myself a chip and a putt at par, and so to be in the fescue, then the bunker, then over the green, that was just unneeded stress. But kind of once I hit the shot in the bunker, I was accepting possible bogey, but I would have liked to not be all wayward.
Last 7 holes, 3 under. How proud are you the way you finished after that double?
Yeah, I'm really proud of how I, two putting. I hit a good drive on 12, and it just went through the fairway and made my second shot a lot harder. But kind of two putting 12, and then birdieing 13, 14, and 17. 17 was kind of, I was just trying to get it close, and it happened to go in. But the other two, I was really proud of myself. Something I've been working on is not hitting a putt trying to make it, but just hitting a putt trying to roll it. And I thought I did a really good job, because sometimes when I get too excited or I want to make birdie that much worse, I kind of try to make it instead of just putt it. So I was really proud of myself for specifically 13, 14.
Yesterday we sensed quite a bit of frustration when you finished around at Pine Hills. How did you regroup and come out with a different attitude today?
Yeah, I just told myself not to have that attitude, but yeah, because I was frustrated and upset at myself for stuff I did, but I just, I was lucky that I was still in the tournament, and kind of knew that I was going to play tough today. Obviously, with 36-hole final day, it's going to play tough. So I felt like that played to my advantage, and so I was kind of hanging my hat on that, hoping for that.
I think someone at the USAM wrote about, kind of the highs and lows of 2021 here for you, not being in the lineup late in the season, but now coming back from that with some incredible performances, and now you go back, I assume, with more confidence than you left campus with?
Yeah, for sure.
and how did the disappointment this spring and the ups and downs of last season fuel you to do some of the things you've done this summer?
Yeah, I think it just taught me to kind of let stuff happen. So I don't know if it fueled me necessarily. I wasn't like, oh, I want to get better because of how I played, or I wasn't like, oh, I want to show so and so. I was just really like trying to look at it as like a long journey of getting better, and trying to look at it as just a little like bump in the road that I could learn from and think better. And I mean, I hit the shots I did on 11, and was still shot 4 under. So I certainly learned from kind of like some of my poor thinking at school. I think that was the biggest thing.
How much different was your victory last year in this tournament from this one? In what ways were they different?
They were really similar, honestly. Similar feeling similar feeling like going in today, but I would say the biggest thing was that for some reason last year, I think I was 2 or 3 back. We talked about it yesterday going into the 36-hole day. I was viewing that as like, oh, that's right where I want to be. Like I'm going to be perfect. Whereas today I was a little bit more of like, okay, gonna have to play pretty good, and obviously 5 shots is different than 2, so maybe that's part of it. But I was just really I kind of had told myself like I just wanted to compete really hard, have good speed on my putts, and try to hit as many greens as I could. And I felt like I did that pretty well.
Have you caught Roche now with majors, Wisconsin majors?
That I'm not sure. It's a good question. I got 3. I think he's got at least 4, but you guys will have to check.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure to ask him too.
And if you were to fast forward, I know you're all totally invested in Vandy Golf, going forward, but if we were to talk about next year, do you see yourself coming back to defend? And at what point in your career will you be, at that point? Because that'll be the end. College will be done by then, right? And
Right.
and then what is your master plan looking like beyond this next year?
Hopefully I'm playing in like the Barclays or whatever the playoff event is this week, but that's a little bit of a joke. But anyways, that's just all dependent on like where I'm playing. Like,
Right.
If I'm playing really well on a consistent tour, then it might be tougher to be here. I don't know. I don't know if like Canadian and Korn Ferry have events this week. I'm guessing Korn Ferry does.
But you could, do some of the things John's done with PGA Tour U and
Right.
all that stuff.
Right. So if I'm playing like somewhat of a consistent schedule, it might make it tougher to be here. But I'd certainly like to. I really like Ozaki too, so I'd certainly like to come back and play.
Great.